What's up again, fellow YouTubers? Today I thought I would talk about superorganisms. Now, what is a superorganism? Well, a superorganism is an organism which is composed of other organisms. For example, you, in a sense, are a superorganism because you are composed of organisms. Now, you consciously control these organisms with your purpose, your agenda, your will as to what you wish to accomplish during the day. You're made up of cells, the cells make up of tissues, the tissues make up organs, the organs make up your body, and along with the host of other bacteria and things. Well, anyways, this video is to bring to light the many superorganisms that are around you on a day-to-day basis that you might have not been previously aware of. Let me just show you how a superorganism works. So you have a person, right? Now you have a couple people. Now you have a group of people. And now you have a larger group of people, which would be designated as a city. Well, a city has an agenda. It wants to maintain life just like anything else. It has certain compartments which are utilized to cooperate with each other, the mass as a whole, to operate under certain conditions and to perform certain tasks so that it may grow and live and accomplish its goals and agendas. Above the city, you have a nation. A nation is, a defined border with a defined will and agenda made up of the people. And then we come back to it being one person again. Because, ultimately, depending on the type of organization that it is, will give some insight as to how the superorganism itself is controlled and its agenda. Who's the head, so to speak, right? Versus who's the body, the torso, and the legs. Well, the head has to communicate to the legs for the organism itself to move. So, we have the nation, right, which is the composition of the body, and then we have the head of the organization, or the superorganism, which influences the levels of organization below the head to actually act in accordance with the conscious will of those who are in control. So you can see here that in a lot of ways a superorganism arranged just like a pyramid. And in a sense, corporations are just another name for a superorganism. You have a corporation with a defined purpose, okay? Now, this organization is built up upon layers and layers and layers of different people and individuals and compartments or departments within the corporation itself, the business, the organization. And as a whole, they cooperate with each other to perform designated tasks which separate them from other organizations, in a sense giving them a sense of identity. Yet there's this trickle-down effect of, the head works in accordance with the legs work in accordance with the head, and in that sense, corporations are superorganisms, and a country, in a sense, is a superorganism. A city is a living entity with a conscious will and desire of its own, made up of individual conscious wills making up the superorganism. So it's this extremely complex and diverse living thing where they cooperate and function as a whole together. And if they don't cooperate and function as a whole together, then the superorganism will collapse. And no longer is it a superorganism, it's just a conglomeration of individuals with different wills designating themselves with their own identity, and a separation of organisms occur. So, in that sense, the city itself is a living thing with its own conscious will and desire. The globe, in a way, is a conscious and living thing. A nation is a conscious living thing. And you, the individual, are a conscious living thing. So in that way, you know, all these things make up a conglomeration of ideals. And as soon as somebody comes forward as the leader and they lead the rest of the people, which act as, the body, the hands, and the legs of the leader with a set specific, purpose and goal, they come together as a whole and, in a sense, become one group, one organism. And how well they work together will define the viability of the organism. Or how well does this business actually run? Is it a profitable business or is it a failing business? If it's a failing business, then it will die. Just like an organism that can't go out and hunt for its own food, if a business is a failing business due to lack of organization and cooperation among the group as a whole, it will in essence die, just like you will die if you fail to gain nourishment to eat. So there you go. There you have it. There is the definition and the explanation behind, superorganisms. Okay, so now we're going to relate this whole Illuminati conspiracy to this superorganism conspiracy, or, well, not really conspiracy, but it's just more so of an ideology of viewing the world as, one large massive living structure rather than, cities and things to that extent being unconscious entities. No, they are actually conscious entities with wills and agendas of their own, and they function and perform as well as they can cohesively maneuver a group of people to perform a task as a one body and as a whole. So anyways, you have the pyramid here with the all-seeing eye. Now, what this represents is as soon as you ascend to the pinnacle up here, your vision actually changes and your perspective on reality is now something that different than it once was before. And I'm going to show you how that is. So anyways, a lot of this falls back to, ancient times of the pharaohs, if you believe in the conventional, way that history is actually represented. Your vision actually changes. And when you ascend to the pinnacle of the pyramid, you are awarded as the ruler of the people, the all-seeing eye of Horus, which is metaphorical for meaning that your vision of the world has now changed. You now see the world more so as like this big old game of Risk, and you're up here sitting on the throne, and you're up here. And this is where the whole mystical, comes into play, that these people were gods and they're above mere man. Well, in a sense, yeah, they're above you. They're on another level. They're on another dimension. They're on another plane because they are. They're up here looking down on the world, and they have their forces over here, and there's different nations and things which identify themselves not to be a part of your group over here, your superorganism, and so they're a different entity than you. They don't have the same wills and agenda or overarching goals that your organization has. Well, you're acting as the eye for the organization that's below you, and you're up here seeing all this stuff. These people down here, they're the workers, the laborers, and everything like that. They're all compartmentalized, departmentalized. They don't necessarily see what the CEO, up here sees, the president, the king, the queen. They're on a different perspective, and they're seeing things in a different manner. They're looking at the ebb and flow of the economy of their structure, their organization. How can I increase distribution? How can I help, the water flow more, through the land in certain areas to give my country's agriculture arable land so that we can, produce more goods for the people. You're seeing, the balance sheets of your nation in a sense, and you're saying, well, wow, okay, we better invest over here and do this over here. We better cut costs over here. We need to get rid of this. We need to invest in that. So yeah, you do have an eye, and you've been given this eye, which allows you to see the world in a totally different perspective.